Guys, okay, so last night he went to the northeast again, and he showed me 5 lines going up. So he did um, a line going from this direction down here, and I counted them, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth one at the top was had a circle on either side of it like this. And then he clasped his palms together and he shot up one of his palms. Okay, and then he went down to the horizon and he showed me the 3 dots again. And so he did dot, 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 and then he showed this one going up. And then he showed the dots vertical like this. Then he showed me something twisting. He took his palm and he was pointed his palm toward, or his hand toward the northeast again, and he was twisting his hand in this direction like that, twisting his hand. And so I had to think about it for a while, and then I understood that if the earth itself was twisting this land, if you imagine this land going in this direction, then this over here would be going down like that. Then it would appear to us that the stars would be going in that direction. And so that actually made sense to me. And then he went over to the north. I actually tried to ask him if that was a pole shift that I was seeing, but he didn't. He just kept going, and what he did was he grabbed a roll of newspaper, and he went over to the north, and he posed up here in the north, and he was tilted to the side like this, and he was holding up the roll of newspaper in his right hand like that. And my first thought was that he was showing the constellation Virgo, but then when I looked at Virgo on Stellarium, that's not the right arm. And then somebody had mentioned that the 3 stars represented Orion's belt, and this was before in other videos. And so I went and looked, and sure enough, that's the right arm. And so I just knew at that point, okay, he's definitely showing us Orion. Because if you remember a couple of months ago, he had shown those 3 stars again, only he showed them vertical in the sky like that. And then in that vision, he was also showing this perpendicular thing. And then I had noticed later that the 3 stars in Orion's belt are parallel to the ground in the southwest. But I didn't know what it meant. And then, so I was looking at Orion. I was trying to figure out what he was talking about, and I realized that in the east, Orion's belt is perpendicular to the ground. And so this is what he was showing me. I mean, this is exactly what he was showing me last night, except he was in the north. And so, in my mind, there's only one of 2 things he could be representing. Either he's representing a pole shift, or he's trying to show me that I'm turned around in my directions. But if he was trying to show me that I was turned around in my directions, then why is he showing me this earthquake? Because right after he showed me this, he came forward and he was showing the ground shaking. And the ground was shaking all around. And he was in the north. Okay? And the ground was shaking. And then he came over, and I don't know if you remember a couple of visions ago, he showed me the white blocks going up to heaven. And he came over while the ground was shaking, and he lifted me up onto the first white block, and he was looking at his feet, and I had the sense that the ground was really hot and that people were wanting to get off the ground because their feet were burning. So if he was trying to show me that I was turned around in my directions, then why would he show me that? Why would he show me the earthquake and the ground getting really hot? So I don't think that's what it is. I think the only thing that makes sense is that he's showing a pole shift. Because he also showed something, well, I don't know what this is, but he showed something going down like this. And then he also showed several things hitting again, and he's shown that before in other visions, things hitting. And then he also showed, I thought I saw something, I thought I saw a plane crash, like something, it seemed like that's what that was. But the other thing that I wanted to point out about that rolled up newspaper is that for me personally, rolled up newspaper represents that you're going to light a fire, because I grew up in a northern climate where people always had wood stoves, and that was just what you did. You would roll up newspaper and then that was how you light your fire in your fireplace or whatever. And so for me, that's exactly what that represents. And so to me, that's what he was somehow showing, this fire, this right here is going to light up. That was the rolled up newspaper, and that's used to light the fire in my mind. So I don't know how that could relate to anything, but that was what it was. And then he again, but it was in the north. He was showing it in the north. And then he also pointed straight up in the sky, and this part I don't understand. He pointed straight up in the sky, and he took my hand and he made a circle like this in the sky, and it went around like that, but it didn't connect at the end. It just went straight that way. And I don't know what that means, because if you were looking up at the North Pole from inside of the Earth's rotation would be going in this direction. If you're looking up at the North Pole from inside the Earth, it's going, the Earth's rotation is going in this direction. So that didn't make sense to me. I mean, unless he's showing that the rotation changes or something, I don't know. But if you look at the North Pole from outside of the Earth, it's moving counterclockwise. Like if you're looking down at the North Pole from out here outside of the Earth, then you're going to see it move in that direction, which would be counterclockwise from that perspective. So I'm not sure, but he did show me this several times, and it was a circle going around like this, and then right about here it whipped that way. So that's what he showed. So that's pretty much it, and I'll let you guys go. Okay, bye-bye.